Good morning. It's not the morning anymore. Fuck. Good afternoon. Welcome to twitch.tv/iScreamUploads. My name is Graham Day. Hey. As you can see, I'm joined by the man that we call Baby.
Good morning. I think officially, I don't know how long we've actually been live for. Let me just check.
I think we went live in the morning.
Oh.
Ish.
We've been live for 8 minutes 30 seconds. So yes, I do believe we went live before 12 o'clock.
We did.
Definitely the morning.
11:58.
Yep, precisely.
Get in there. Have that.
I mean, when we appear on screen, that clearly isn't when the show actually goes live, is it?
Yeah, and well, I suppose it is because this is the show. But no, for technical reasons, we do you know what? Whatever we want to be the best situation is the best situation. Nice.
I agree.
Nice.
I agree.
If you're in the chat, please do feel free to let us know that you are here. We are live on twitch.tv/iScreamUploads for The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, if we do say so ourselves. We do go live on Twitch each and every single weekday at 10 a.m.
Ish.
10 a.m.-ish. But if you're in the chats, make sure you do get involved because it's not just about Twitch. I mean, we do go live on Twitch, giving you the biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games. We then give you our thoughts and impressions on those stories. We want your thoughts and impressions on those stories, and then we want your thoughts and impressions on our thoughts and impressions. It's kind of important that you do get involved over the next hour or so because we are live on twitch.tv/iScreamUploads, but that stream is turned into a podcast, a video on YouTube, and an audio podcast on iTunes and Spotify and SoundCloud and Google Play. So there's lots of places where people watch and listen to this podcast on demand. I can see everyone's in the chat this morning. Hey, how you doing? So make sure you do get involved on behalf of those people that watch and listen on demand. And there's been a fair few of those, hasn't there been?
There most certainly has, yes.
105,000.
Yes.
We'll keep mentioning that until there's 106,000.
Yeah. We've got to give them in increments. Like, what's the increment limit? Is it like 5,000 or 10,000?
Yeah, fives is good.
Five's good. Okay.
If we do it in every 1,000, we'll have to update it before the end of the show, obviously.
Yeah. Well, this is officially our 496th show.
496.
So we are so close to 500 shows.
So this is 496 on Tuesday. So that means next Monday.
Yeah, I'm just going to double check this because when I uploaded the episode yesterday, I'm fairly certain. So our SoundCloud says, yeah, we've uploaded 495 tracks. I mean, you could probably take one off because it was the pilot episode, so it's 494, but it's still content, isn't it? It still count. So today's 496. So is that Monday's show?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So next week, 500. Halfway to 1,000. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. Let's jump in the chat. Tito says, he says, let's go, which is one of our animated emotes, but there's another animated emote next to it that has an audible cue that sounds a little bit like this.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, does my mic sound better today? Because after Tito was saying that we was in the mud last week and Graham's being louder, they both are now at the same volume. All the technical stuff that you could possibly do with the microphones are exactly the same. There is no difference. There's no volume difference apart from Graham's natural volume.
I don't know what you mean.
We do know what he means.
Yeah. Last week I had to sit back. Hi, welcome.
So yeah, they are both exactly the same. You shouldn't be hearing me through his mic, vice versa, and they should be the exact same volume. So
welcome.
Much better show today.
To the Scoop. Hi.
Oh.
Whisper. Scratchy. Tickly.
I think my knickers have just blown off. Whoa, the very big ones.
He's warm in here. I mean, I thought it was cold, but I suppose it. Anyway, that's it for that. Jumping back in the chat, Lake says, with Kyle's cousin voice from South Park. Who's Kyle's cousin?
Who is Kyle's cousin?
There's I'm back. See, I'd have gone for the guy from Independence Day. Hello, boys. I'm back. Because he flies into the bottom of the ship and then boom. But I'll take your word for it, Lick.
Kyle's cousin, South Park.
What is this bullshit? I mean, I appreciate you going live at 12.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, okay.
That was lost on me. I'd stopped watching it by that one, so I don't know. I apologise for not knowing the reference, Lake, but it's lost on me. But yeah, lunchtime scoops. Enjoy the lunchtime scoops, everyone. Unless you are, in fact, Taze Bad, then it's the other side of the day from lunchtime. It's bedtime where Tasbad is. But I appreciate you dropping in once again, Tasbad. How are you doing? How is your day? How has your day been? I say, how is your day? I mean, we've got the day ahead of us, ish. You've got the bed ahead.
Yes.
So how's the day been? I feel bad for Tasbad. They want to go to bed, but they're being kept awake by this delay. It's all part of the service. What we're doing is allowing Tasbad to experience more of the day.
Exactly.
So really delivering.
It's free as well. Do you know what I mean? We are giving him these incentives for free, and there's what's better than free.
I'll tell you what's better than free. Not being kept awake, but being kept in a wake by this delay, which is what Tito said in the chat.
Kept in a what?
Look, Captain Wake. HLKEPTNAWAKE.
Do you know what? I thought that might have been an emote. But I think he's just fully derped.
He has, yeah. He fixed it, just being kept awake, for fuck's sake.
It's like autocorrect's not necessarily doing you dirty. It's just they've not decided to do it for you because they had no idea what you were trying to say.
The
spelling was that bad. Therefore, fuck it, you're on your own, mate.
The worst thing is, I read it because my autocorrect derps that much that I understood what he was meant to say. The N is the space between kept and awake. We've had worse autocorrects. What was Lake's one when he was talking about his PlayStation? What was that one that you did, Lake, months ago? We were like, what? it sounded dodgy, but innocent. Ads says Pog. Now then, ads.
Morning.
I'm good there. I'm good there. Waffle on. Poor old man's birthday soon. What is he talking about? Me? Talking about me?
Well, he must be talking about us.
And ice cream.
And ice cream, yeah, because December is the month of giving gifts, not just for Christmas. Whoa, that needs to be muted straight away. December is the month of giving, not just for Christmas.
Absolutely. 100%. Christmas, my birthday, Bibby's birthday.
Shogun Ash is in there as well somewhere, but...
Just following us again.
Out of order.
Bless him. But just in case, I know I've just seen you've just asked in the chat. We'll ignore who, because they've clearly just asked, and it definitely did happen. It is 10 days. We're on to the 10-day countdown to my birthday, by the way. So, yeah, thanks for asking, chat. Appreciate it. 10 days to my birthday, just in case. Don't worry, we'll get assets drawn up. We'll have the full 10 days to go.
Yeah, absolutely.
9 days to go.
And it'll start again when it's mine, and then it'll start again for ice cream uploads.
It'll be like, by this, when yours starts, we'll have to change it from still assets to gifts. So it'll be like 10 days to go. And then it'd be like 7 days to go plus 10 days to go, kind of thing, or whatever it is. Maybe not 7 and 10, but you get the idea. Anyway, yes, it sounds much, much better. Nice. Grey SMR for the win. Thank you very much. Next Gen Base. Do feel free to type. Not today because we don't have it set up. On chatbot !3D on the days when I'm at home, because you can get yourself some mighty sexy, absolutely gorgeous PlayStation trophies. Oh yeah. How's it going, Shaggers? Says Mr. Garlic Clark.
Morning.
Tito says, I'm multitasking here. Some of us doing crucial local government work. And what are you getting them a brew or something?
Yeah, is it? I mean, I've got a bone to pick with Samantha.
Actually,
anyway.
let me just jump through these, because I think Phil, what you're about to say needs to be addressed.
It
properly.
does need to be addressed. It's out of order.
Tito says, get off my dick. New emo, I suck awake. Graham, stop. My penis can only get so erect. Gargad says, good morning, gents. So yeah. Okay. Bibby has a bone that needs to be picked.
Yeah. Not in any crude way or anything like that.
I mean,
but I'm having a look in the activity feed, and I'm seeing someone called Mrs. Bibby, who I have been married to for 2.5 years. We've been together over 11 years at this point. It's a long time, Graham. I've been streaming on this channel for 3.5 years now.
Which is also a very long time.
It's also a very, very long time.
Do you know what's good about that, though, is the fact that through all those 3 years, you've had someone there that's got your back, that's always been there helping you. You know what they say? Behind every successful, badass, worldwide internet sensation streamer is a woman that follows all of his channels.
Yeah, that's your wife, isn't it?
Oh, Danielle follows his channels, yeah. She's been following for ages.
She's been following me for a long time. But it just seems to be that in my activity feed, I've got someone there called Mrs. Bibby, who has been around this channel for a long time. I think actually she made this account maybe 2 years ago. Be careful. No, this is a rant. This is a Fox News rant I'm about to go on here. I think she made this account about 2 years ago for a Score Against Cancer thing. I showed her how to capitalise the M. I showed her how to capitalise the B. what the fuck happened? Because she's been in this chat for a long time and she decided not to follow. But I mean, thank you very much for Mrs. Bibby for following, I guess, after all this time.
To be fair, Mrs. Bibby did follow ages ago. That's just Mr. Spibby. Just got to follow.
Yeah.
So thank you very much for the follow, Mr.
Mrs. Booby.
Gary Clark says domestic.gif.
Yeah. The locks will be changed by the time I come home.
They're already changed.
Yeah, they're already gone.
Viv says, I can't stop. I just wanted to say, I need to pee. Nice. Thanks, Viv. Viv says, can we follow Mrs. Bibby?
Well, in a stalker way? Or...
I mean, it's kind of illegal.
Yeah. I mean, I'll allow it. I'll allow it if you pay it. But yeah, I didn't realise I was following until this morning.
To be fair, I do that all the time. People will drop into the chat and I'll be like, hey, how you doing? Hey. And then it's only, like, I don't like to follow a channel. I've said this many times before. I don't like to follow a channel until I see them streaming because it's like an exchange. It's like, here's my follow.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, thank you very much.
Yeah. It's like a digital handshake.
Yeah. So I like to, I don't want to be like, oh, you're not there. I'll follow you anyway. That's just kind of like knocking on someone's door when they're not in. What's the point in that? So I want to knock on there. I'm like, I'm Graham, I'm your neighbour. I'm a streamer from just down the street. Yeah. Play the Scoop, 9-ish. No, fuck 9-ish, mate. It's more like 2:30. There's no nines in there, no tens.
I feel like I have to do it there and then though, because as Samantha will absolutely agree to this, my memory is terrible. I will forget something as soon as she tells me something. I don't know if that's part and parcel of being married or something. Kind of goes in one ear and out the other, and she'll have to remind me many times. But if I know there's someone that has been in and around our stream that I don't follow, I tend to follow there and then, purely because I will forget. And if they go live and I miss their stream, I think I didn't get notified.
I did that literally last night. Eternal Lee HD, who's in our chat often. I mean, I've spoken about him. I even referenced his tweets the other day, saying I'd seen him tweeting about the Forza Horizon not being included in the Game of the Year. Only last night did I actually go and follow his channel because he was live. And I was like, oh, fuck, shit, I can do it now. So I went to his chat. First thing he said, now I've actually found you live. Have this.
If there's people in the chat that I know that streams, I feel like I have to follow them for either my account or the Ice Cream Upgrades account or both, so that when we finish our shows, we can raid them. Because if they're not in our live list, then how the fuck do I know that they're live?
So what we tend to do, because we follow quite, obviously, most people will follow quite a lot of channels, is when we're finishing the show, when we're going to do a raid, we go to our list and then drop down to the bottom to see, because obviously we've not got a bajillion viewers. We've got more viewers than a lot of people have, and we're super grateful for that. So, but we know that the viewers that we have could absolutely help another channel. So we go down to the bottom of the list and we try to find people that aren't 200 viewers, 100 viewers or whatever, and pass on a little love in that sort of way. Because, help others.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when we forget to follow people...
yeah, it's kind of... There's a breakdown in communication there somewhere, isn't there?
Tell you what, speaking about breakdown in communications, Mrs. Bibby says, now you've started with the bone picking, I'll start my list for when you get home.
There isn't enough paper in the house. I mean, it's probably the same list that was there last week. It's probably just been laminated so that I don't lose or destroy it.
Just red lines.
That wouldn't be enough. I needed to physically push me into rooms and go, okay, I've asked you to do that.
Just extra words out. So rather than put the bins out, it's put in capital letters, the fucking bins out. And yes.
Yeah, nice. Again, you don't want to anger a Mancunian woman because she will just...
Shiv.
Yeah, shiv. I mean, I didn't want to out her or anything like that, but yeah,
it's all right.
Absolutely. Are you speaking from experience?
No comments. Please don't hurt me, babe. I heard it wasn't even Heinz. What? He went cheap on... What? What are we on about?
No, if people ever ask you for a meal, you know Heinz soup is going to get him whipped out. So I told Samantha, when was it? It was maybe Thursday. No, it was Friday. She went, what do you want for tea? And... I don't know why. I don't know if anybody else has this, but they kind of crave just certain things, even though you haven't got it in. It's usually when you haven't got it in. So, one thing that I never usually eat, tomato soup. What's the best thing to have with tomato soup?
Toaster. Is that what you're going to say?
That's what I wanted.
Actually. Oh, yeah. That was poor. Try again.
Oh, no. There we go. Yeah, so
sorry,
I said you have a night off. I'll cook tea tonight.
Anyone listen to this on demand, by the way? Me and Bibby were absolutely just a bit of foreplay then.
Absolutely, there wasn't just touching tips. So I said, don't worry, have a night off. I'll cook tea tonight. She's like, what do you fancy? Tomato soup with I went upper class. You know what I mean? It wasn't just cheese on toast. It was grated cheese in tiger baguette.
Ooh.
Do you know what I mean? So no expense spared in the Bibby household. With Lurpak butter as well. So I mean, she's getting treated extremely well. But yeah, that's essentially what that is. And I don't know whether or not she was fuming, but after she ended up eating it, she was like,
it's a fucking. We do either just a cheese toastie or a ham and cheese toastie. And tomato soup. It's like all the ingredients of a pizza, but in a different way. It's like you've got your tomato puree, so you've got your cheese. Okay, nice. You've got your bread. You've got some ham in there as well. It's pizza.
It was phenomenal. If I'm being generous, I mean, she had to go out and buy it all.
Yeah, you have a night off. Just nip to the shops.
Yeah, and send it down to shops. Go down to Asda and get it all. But it's just one. It's a proper council house
treat
thing.
you to a meal as if you were 13.
Yeah. Well, where was the turkey dinosaurs? You know what I mean?
Chips and beans. Where did we get to? Just upload the list to the Google Drive, Mrs. Bibb. Your Google Drive space has exceeded its storage limit. Fuck! The fact that Bibby class warming up a liquid as cooking is incredible, my hero. To be fair, that's about the limit of my cooking abilities. To be fair.
Both of us, not blowing our own trumpets, I think we're both really, really good cooks. She cooks a hell of a lot more than I do. She has her specialities. I have my specialities. Her cheese and onion pie will beat anybody's hand down. Her mince and onion pie beat anybody's hands down. Sunday dinner's fantastic. I can't remember off the top of my head. Well, anything Mexican, that's me. But opening can of soup. But all of this requires time, and it's something that we're both so fucking lazy. That it's just like, shall we stick a lasagna in or something?
See, all I'm hearing is bullshit, to be fair, because I know full well that this is Bibby.
Greg's again.
Bibby 2 Lambos with like multiple wings to his establishment, and he's got catering staff. One, he doesn't cook, and two, he doesn't just. It's kind of like Next Gen Base says. Hang on, I missed all this. Soup for tea, fucking hellfire, Bib. That's a starter. This is Bibby. That's a palate cleanser.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
after the starter, he just
before the lobster comes in.
Don't listen to his bullshit. Yeah, of course you had it. Yeah, all right.
The lobster thermidor comes in. That's it. You know what I mean? But I mean,
lobster for your door.
Yeah, well, you got to name them, haven't you? You got to know which one's which.
Nip to the shop. I'll fire up the microwave.
Oh God.
Lake's gone, and that's my coffee break. No, well, we appreciate you dropping in through
cheers,
the coffee
mate.
break, Lake. Did you enjoy your night off, Mrs. Bibby, says Tito? It wasn't too bad, but he owes me a steak dinner.
I mean, I can do a steak dinner.
Didn't know you could get steak soup. Just blitz it. Blender. Cracking video game chat again today, guys. It's the Scoop.
Yeah, exactly. It's alive.
We'll bring you all
morning show.
The biggest, the best, and the breaking stories from the world of video games and beyond. Yeah. That's what we say. That's what, I mean, to be fair, if you've not eaten whilst playing a video game, then you've let yourself down.
Absolutely. I mean, it's all I'm saying is it's a very good job nowadays that on YouTube this gets broken out into chapters, so that people who don't join us live and don't know what this is,
it's like 0 minutes 1 second intro. 0 minutes 6 skip to here.
Yeah. Morning waffle. That's what it is.
Talking about food, and G hasn't even mentioned Slim Chickens yet. Guess what I had on Saturday?
Guess where I'm going this weekend?
Wales.
To go to Slim Chickens, yeah.
Your face, that was like, what?
that was a blue screen that I've ever seen. One. I was just like upside down smiley face. This PC has crashed. There's no URL code or anything to Google. It's just. I think I went cross-eyed then as well. I had no idea what was going on. That's what I mean, this show, right? We have 4 news stories for you today, right? It's not scripted in any way, shape or form, just the order of things may appear that we know what we're doing. But
it was the fact that you smiled. And then your smile stayed there, but your eyes were... What?
Fuck! Oh. Well, welcome to The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game professional and podcast.
Great.
Should we start again tomorrow?
Cheers, guys.
Okay. Roll titles?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay. Welcome to The Scoop, the UK's #1 video game podcast, even if we do say so ourselves. Thanks for sticking around.
So yes. Anyway, back in the room.
So yeah, I'm going Slim Chickens this weekend. Nice. Yeah, not in Wales. Oh, for God's sake. All right.
Okay. Nice. Fuck's sake, what have I started? Cheers, Tino. I've had a large kebab whilst playing a game. You haven't lived until you've done that. I mean, chips as well, obviously.
Well, Lake was at a 24-hour LAN party this weekend. I didn't see any pictures, which I'm absolutely fuming about, because if there's not a guy gaffer taped to the ceiling, then how is it a LAN party?
that fucking...
Like CSGO stuck to the roof. Like, that's the kind of LAN party that I want in a basement somewhere. But yeah, I imagine there was a lot of heavy food going around there.
Just imagine that, though. Imagine you getting your mates to, like, make you, like, a duct tape hammock, and then it's like...
I wonder how he got up there. There's like 4 lads just lifting him up.
What do you need? Guaranteed, though, if that was you, like, you'd be like 3 energy drinks in, a couple of Pepsis or whatever, it'd be like, oh. Just give me a bottle.
There's like a tube just coming from the middle of the gaffer tape.
And that, kids, is the story about how Gary had to buy a new controller. 4 stories. We're looking to get one at this rate. Well, tell you what. Let's jump in. We do have 4 stories for you today. You may have seen from the social assets that we put out. Today's story that we're headlining the show is about Marvel's Avengers. More specifically, the PlayStation exclusive Spiderman DLC, which has... no C. So it's basically downloadable content without content, as it has no story missions. Crystal Dynamics even instead spent time on bits everyone can enjoy, which sounds nice.
Very ominous.
The real stuff is it's not. It's there. In reality, it's not entirely nice. We'll go through that. As the lead story. Then we'll follow that with the fact that Nintendo joins Xbox and PlayStation. We had it maybe in the studio, I think, last week. Jim Ryan condemned the Activision situation. Later on, a couple of days later, maybe even the very next day, Phil Spencer from Xbox said that he's not happy with everything that Activision has been doing. He wants some sort of answers to questions. Now Nintendo has joined in that conversation. 2, we'll then jump into the fact that Battlefield 2041 is now one of Steam's most poorly reviewed games ever.
Oof.
Which is a particular shame, because that was actually a game that we've been super excited about. We've spoken about it all the way through since, like, seeing Portal at Gamescom, whenever we first got to see that stuff, or was that E3?
I can't remember.
Anyway, we've seen it all the way through from the very first trailers right through to now. Been super excited, and it's just a shame to see what it is. And then finally, the Xbox mini fridge has been released early. We'll jump into that in a few, but for now, let's start the show. Looking at this, Marvel's Avengers PlayStation exclusive Spider-Man DLC has no story missions. Crystal Dynamics instead spent time on bits everyone can enjoy. This is written by Tom Phillips at Eurogamer, and the body of the story says, the long-awaited PlayStation exclusive arrival of Spider-Man in Marvel's Avengers will not include any new story missions. I'm dying after that laughing. Peter Parker's edition will instead feature, quote, audio logs and illustrated cutscenes unlocked by completing in-game challenges in regular Avengers Initiative multiplayer missions. Fans had hoped for more, based on the kinds of story content which has previously turned up alongside the arrival of fellow DLC heroes Kate Bishop, Clint Barton, and Black Panther. Speaking in an IGN interview published alongside early hands-on impressions, Marvel's Avengers gameplay director Phillips Terrine?
The bingo card out.
It was. Yeah, exactly. Oh, it won't work here.
No, it won't work.
He explained resources had been put into the game's upcoming Claw Raid, which something which arrives at the same time but isn't locked to a particular platform. Quote, we want to spend our efforts on content that everyone can enjoy, so we chose to spend a lot of our energy on the Claw Raid that's coming up at the same time. Therian said, really, that's a simple decision for us. Spider-Man can play all the content, but then when we release a piece of content that's good on all okay, there we go. Spider-Man can play all the content, but then we release a piece of content that's good on all platforms. Really, that was a decision that's been that way since the beginning. Marvel's Avengers fans will likely appreciate the extra work on Claw, but if a key Marvel character is getting a half-baked entry because they're platform exclusive, a better solution perhaps would have been not to make Spidey exclusive at all. Initially planned for early 2021, Spider-Man will finally arrive in Marvel Avengers on the 30th of November, the same day as that new raid, plus various other bits and pieces. Then we have an item there which gives you the content roadmap, which is coming up on screen now. Ta-da! Nice. So, Bib, Spider-Man finally makes it to Marvel's Avengers, a game that was delayed with content that's platform specific, which obviously got a lot of people angry, which was then delayed itself. And it's not the greatest content from the sounds of it. It's just essentially cosmetics. And if you've seen any of the gameplay stuff, people that have had hands-on with it so far said it's not very good as well. Thoughts?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I mean, the reason we're seeing it on PlayStation is surely because Sony still own the rights to Spider-Man to a large degree. Same reason why we haven't had a Spider-Man game over on Xbox. So having him on there, it still kind of makes sense to me. What doesn't make sense to me is having an IP as big as that and not having content created around it. Now, fair enough, it would be annoying as an Xbox fan or an Xbox user and not being able to play a Spider-Man quest, but that shouldn't be the reason why you don't have it. I feel like the mind has been changed as and when. I feel like they could have created something for it, and there probably was creating something for it, but somewhere down the line they have decided not to release it and just say, well, it was never the intention to pretend to not have any content for it. It was only going to be a character that you can use. You can have a different skill set. You can maybe. I mean, I've not played the Avengers game. It didn't really interest me at all. I imagine there's a skill tree there for you to be able to upgrade your moves and stuff like that. So I imagine he will have content like that to be able to go through that you can max level them. But in terms of creating content around it, if you've got an IP like that, you surely must be created, because there's been big hype around it. So you now have got a character that you can't play storyline, like a specific storyline mission. This should be equal to Black Panther. They're both massive IPs. Why would you make something for Black Panther and not for Spider-Man? It personally makes no sense to me, because eventually you're going to lose the license to it, and then maybe Xbox will end up picking it up as an exclusive. Microsoft will end up using it. I don't know how the licensing issues work with them over there, but it's bonkers that they haven't created something specific for this, considering they've been hammering home that the PlayStation is getting exclusive content, but it's not really.
It's shit. That's what it is. Let's go back to front cam. If you can't see it as well, we'll put the discussing now on screen. So that's what we're talking. Marvel Avengers destroying Spider-Man's DLC. It is crap. It is crap, because we first spoke about this being, it's one of those forced tie-ins. Sony owns the rights to Spider-Man, fair enough. But if they were really serious about putting their brands within a game, there wouldn't be any platform specific. There's probably some licensing shit within there. Okay, if that's fine, if that's the case, get rid of Spider-Man. Don't put Spider-Man in there. Either put it in so that it's cross-platform, or don't put it in at all. We've seen the Avengers without Spider-Man for quite a lot of, well, most of the MCU was the Avengers without Spider-Man. He only came in Civil War, so it was only there for 2 out of the 4 Avengers films. So don't need him. Don't have to use him. He's there because it's a sales tie-in, it's marketing. But marketing is fine when it has substance, and this has no substance. This gives you a reason to buy it on PlayStation. Is that reason new content? No. Is that reason specific modes? No. Is it just a cosmetic? Yes, that's pretty much all it is. I'm going to move you that because I keep looking over this way. But that's pretty much all it is. It's just a cosmetic now. Spider-Man is, yes, you'll get some new moves and some new attacks, but he will fall into the frantic nature of the Marvel's Avengers like fighting schemes. You get enemies that rush you, you attack these enemies, and whilst it feels good using Thor or Iron Man or Spider, once you've done that quite a lot, it's not always the same. It's not like playing Insomniac Spider-Man, where you can play through 20 hours of Spider-Man, and then at the end of it, you're still hitting combos that makes you feel like you're in a completely different fight, even though it's just another hideout kind of goons coming towards you. You don't get that feeling. So it's like, where's the benefit? So I've got the PlayStation version to get Spider-Man for nothing. Instead, they've done so on that asset that we had on screen. They were called DLC expansions, whereas this isn't like the Kate Bishop or the Black Panther or the Hawkeye expansion. This is just a hero event, Spider-Man hero event. So it's a half-assed way of saying this is what should have been DLC, but instead we've called it something else that sounds ambiguous, that doesn't really say anything. Hero event. Anything in the game would be a hero event. That's kind of what it's about. So they've just thrown a name to throw it in, and it's disappointing because it's another thing that just is below par for Marvel's Avengers, this game. So
I want to know what that Hawkeye nameplate challenge is, because if that's more substantial than what they've got with Spider-Man, then that is a massive kick in the bollocks.
The thing is that you look at that though, you've got the Hawkeye nameplate challenge, and the Marvel's Spider-Man event. Because one of them is a PlayStation marketing thing. To get Spider-Man in there is probably a license thing, but that will come with loads of PlayStation exclusive marketing, probably store placement, probably social media coverage, maybe some on-screen TV advertising for PlayStation 2 with the PlayStation sort of thing that happens at the end. Then the Hawkeye one has got a Disney Plus logo next to it, so it's kind of like, okay, your game didn't have much content, and now your content doesn't have content. But what it does have is commercial tie-ins.
Yeah.
And it's like, give us the substance. There should be something beefy in there, and at the moment, it's just like air of beef. Okay, it smells like it should taste good, but there's nothing to eat. Great. Disappointing. Anyway, jump in the chat. Let's see what you guys are saying. We do have a clip. Gagad has clipped us being professional. Thank you very much, Gagad. I'm going to assume that's an actual professional clip. I bet Sony are delighted that they spent a chunk of money getting something that has no actual stuff in it. Absolutely. The thing is, though, Sony may not have spent money. It may be a case of there's a very good chance, because of licensing and shit, I've just ruined my mic, nice, that Sony are part of the issue. Like, they could own all the rights. Obviously, we know there was all sorts of issues with the MCU and Sony having the digital rights and Marvel not, and so on. We know that there was issues getting Spider-Man into the films, and then he was almost not in the films, and then he's back in the films again. So Sony could have been a hindrance. So it might not be a case of they're going, we've not got value for money. It might be a case of, we still got brand awareness, we still got loads of PlayStation exclusive stuff, we still got people to buy the game and or PlayStations for our specific needs, so PlayStation may still be happy. Obviously, I don't know the ins and outs, it might not be that case. Ad says Nintendo Pog. You've made me want a kebab now, says Mrs. Pippy.
Oh, yeah.
Am I the only one that hated the look of the way Spider-Man moved in the Avengers game? It looks terrible. It's like it's been sped up. It's weird. It's weird. Like some sort of janky movement kind of stuff. It does look odd. Man, I love audio logs with the doubt.jpg, says Next Gen Base. Yeah, don't we all? Don't we all? You could have missions, new skins, cosmetics, in-game content. What about new quests for
That'd be amazing.
For moves or side missions? Or when you've done insert grindy thing here, like defeat 100 goons, you will get a USB stick that has an audio file that plays, "Hey, Peter, it's me, someone else. I just want to tell you a little bit about the backstory that has led to you being in this game," rather than actually giving you a backstory that you can play through. What? Yeah. No, nope. Doctor, what a duo. Yes, sir. Morning to all.
Oh, well, afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. Welcome in, Doctor. How are you doing? Next Gen Base says, Crystal Dynamics, the keepers of the Marvel Skinematic universe.
Nice work.
You love to see it. Adds, sounds like Bibby's written that. Game shy. I'm half expecting to check who the developer of this is and for it to come back as Wish. Fuck up after fuck up with this game. Awful. Next Gen Base says, honestly, Guardians of the Galaxy blows Avengers out of the water. It's so much better and entirely single player. Speaking of which.
Yes, I managed to pick it up yesterday. I don't know if anyone has a Tesco near them. Tesco isn't just a northern thing, is it?
No, it's I think there's like, at one point there was one postcode in the UK that didn't have a Tesco in it. So.
Right. Yeah, so a Tesco is obviously a supermarket and they sell games, and if you've got a club card, there was most notably, Guardians was down from £50 down to £29. That's for the PS5 version as well as the PS4 version. And they also had Crash Bandicoot 4, the new one, that was £5. Tony Hawk's, that was £5. There was something else. F1 was £25. The new UFC game was £5. Like, if you've got a club card, it's definitely worth going to your local Tesco. Like,
my
now.
local Tesco had none of them, sadly. So I didn't even have Guardians, to be fair. Although my local Tesco is quite a big Tesco, but its electronics section / game section is tiny.
Right.
So
yeah, definitely, if you can and you want these games, get there as early as possible to see if you've still got any on the shelves, because there was a lot of people that had obviously seen the same offer themselves. That was trying to get them yesterday.
Especially if you've got a gift card like Bibby did, and you leave, and it costs you like
£4.
Yeah, 2 Haribos. That's what it cost him. £4 for the Guardians game, and it's on a disc, so you can lend it to me, which is what I said afterwards.
Yep. I'm definitely not streaming it, by the way.
Yeah,
100%.
100%. It's a game that is exceptional because of everything around it, and it's unfortunate that it's come out where it is in time. If it came out in 10 years' time, it would probably be past all of the bullshit with licensing.
2 years ago, it would have been perfect if it came out, because there wasn't the DMCA issues that we're getting now. But yeah, I'm not. I watched Fixer stream it, and he was pissed that he was streaming because they've got a streamer mode in it that changes the music to like YouTube copyright-free music. That's not what you. That's not what you are.
Ooga chaka, ooga ooga. I can't stop this feeling. But it's like a chaka ooga ooga chaka ooga.
It's the karaoke version. Again, I can't remember the name of the karaoke company that do all the karaoke stuff with, like, Samantha will know because she does it every single time she goes out. But the fairy, yellow background, I can never remember what it is, like Sunkissed or something.
Is it not like blue background, yellow right? No, it is yellow right and blue, yellow background, blue right, and you're right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what you'd expect it to be like in the game. It's just. Nah, I want it fully blasting. You can't have a Guardians game.
The thing is, though, is like that for a lot of people is a big problem. The fact that a lot of content creators, not a lot of like real people, because content creators are real people, obviously, but like that is genuinely a big problem. Having a game that relies heavily on the audio. But developers can't just make games for content creators. More people are going to buy that game for non-content creation purposes. So it's a pain for us and stuff. But even with that consideration in there, that is something that they've gone, we can't do anything about that. That is what it is. Let's go back to front cam because I keep looking up there now. We can't do anything about that. It is what it is. We have to make a game. We want to make a Guardians game. You can't make a Guardians game without a good soundtrack. So it's just one of those things. That's the way the cookie crumbles. Despite that being something that they've not tried to avoid, because you can't, they've just gone, it's a problem. It's going to be there. It's still a fundamentally better game than Avengers, even though that has that there as well, which says it all. They had a dream, an aim for the game, and they delivered it. And one of the things is it's not conducive to streaming because of the environment that we're in with licenses and online content creation. That's not something the devs of the Guardians could have got past, or publishers, whoever deals with the licensing side of it. So yeah, just go. But meanwhile, you've got issues with Spiderman where they've actually managed to put that into a game, but just gone. Let's just put him in, but not quite put him in. Nice. Okay, let's catch up. Mr. T, yup, Guardians is superb. This is not 100%, and that's the thing. Don't get me wrong. Marvel's Avengers is not bad if you play through some of the single-player stuff. It's not great, and that's the difference. Guardians is superb, this is not. Marvel's Avengers is not terrible entirely. It's not exceptional, really, at all. It's a really good game in parts, but it's just super flawed throughout. And this is just another shit notch on the bedpost. That's what it is. Thing is, if you were judging Avengers solely on its single-player campaign, I think it would be held in much better regards. Exactly. That's kind of what I was getting at there, to be fair.
Do you think that this game could be something special?
Not now. I don't think it... I think they've had so many fuck-ups now. I don't think it could be now. I think if they did it again, it could be... There was something... I don't know whether we actually covered it or whether I heard it in a podcast or read it, but it was Square basically saying, whilst Crystal Dynamics are shit hot, we wouldn't use them for this again, not in a bad way, but like they basically said they chose someone that had no experience in this field to deliver something in this field. Or it might have been Crystal Dynamics said it themselves, actually. They may have said, you know what, we're proud of what we've made, but we probably wouldn't do it again, or we think it would be better for someone else, or something like that, which kind of lets you know Crystal Dynamics have made some exceptional games, and then did something completely different, and for whether it was them or whether it was working with what Square wanted or Marvel or whatever, it just didn't work entirely. So there's some good stuff in there, like Tila said. Single player campaigns are decent enough, but it was kind of square pegs round holes, kind of the Ole Gunnar Solskjaer at United kind of thing. Everyone loves them. We know that there's some good stuff there, and it's all nice, but it's not the worst thing you've ever seen. The way United have played under Solskjaer. I mean, some of the things have been bad, but it's not the worst thing you've ever seen. But it could be better.
Yeah.
It could be better.
Yeah.
A lot better. So, yeah. Anyway, jumping back up. 100%, I stand by it. Avengers was started as a single-player game, and then an executive got their hands on it and went, ooh, this is a moneymaker, and fuck the vision. Excuse the pun. 100% fuck the vision, imagine.
Yeah.
Nope, that's not the DLC we wanted. Yeah, they heard live service and saw the dollar signs. 100%. Lurk. Shit, it didn't work. We appreciate you lurking anyway, Gary.
Appreciate it.
There's a bunch of commands and stuff that aren't in the Office Studio.
I need to get an email to myself, and then on Thursday I can put them back in here again.
Yeah. Can I just say I can't wait for WWE 2K22? No, you can't. You're not allowed to say that. It's banned. We're not interested in WWE 2K22 at all. And 100%, we haven't been sat messing around with the strobe light functions in the studio this morning, singing the Edge theme tune. I see clearly. But no, not all. Wait. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Tesco isn't a normal thing. Just fucking creased me. Sorry, babe.
I'm definitely. Reading through. Yeah, he's been corrected. Yeah, Northern. No, the reason I say that is because there's a shop round here. What's the shop round here called that isn't anywhere else? Booths. Yeah, Booths. Who's heard of Booths? There's not a Booths in Manchester.
I'm pretty sure there's a Booths on Salford Media City sort of stuff. Booths is a Northwest thing. Booths is like, I don't know. I'm going to say Waitrose. It's probably the wrong one. But like, you've got Waitrose and then you've got like Booths, and Booths is like the local version of that kind of thing. But Tesco is an everywhere
there is. I think there is supermarkets that isn't like national. They'll just be local-ish up north.
Gary says, I think I have as many Tesco's near me as I do people. This DLC makes the pigeon mission look like Endgame. Three Tesco's near me are all overpriced shite. I don't mind my Tesco, if I'm being honest. That's disappointing. Yeah, don't stream it. Licensed music is a big part of the game. Adds so much, and that's it. I'm happy with that. It's a shame that we can't experience it with our viewers, but it's just one of those things. We could play it off stream and go, do you know what? Play it yourself. You'll fucking love it. Thank us later. Go. Oh man, the music is brilliant. Triggering the huddle during a boss fight and then take on me kicking in. Chef's kids. Today I learned I can't spell. Chef. Chef's kids. Chef. Is streaming a big consideration when developers develop a game? Ish. It very much is and isn't. It depends, and that's kind of the thing. It's a lot of developers will consider how to access an audience, because that can make or break a game. Other developers will consider what their experience is within the game, and others consider systems. Not that they don't all do that anyway, but like arguably you could suggest that Marvel's Avengers devs thought, okay, we want live service system over story and how we access the audience. Whereas Guardians of the Galaxy's devs were like, okay, we want to create a game. We're not asked about live service and getting money out of people long term. We're not asked about streaming it. We want to make a game that is successful in its own right. And usually you'll weigh up cost-benefit analysis, which matters the most. Can you do all of it? Ideally, you have something that's live service and makes loads of money, whilst also is a great story and is really good for streaming and content creation and viewership. Because if you get all of that, that's it. You win. You get Fortnite then. You get good content, something that's really good for viewership, Battle Royale as a genre, with something that's live service and open-ended. Okay, Fortnite, cha-ching, you get the Holy Grail. If you can't do all three of those, but you still try to, that's when you fail. That's when you get Marvel's Avengers, because it's gone, okay, we want profitability, we want some story. Enough, yeah. So we'll buy the Avengers license. That'll be enough story, hopefully. And
they've got enough characters there to throw enough shit at the wall to see what sticks.
Yeah, and that's what they've done though. And clearly, even the one that sticks to the walls, Spider-Man, that's just not sticking. You know, he's no.
But yeah, I imagine it must be well, I'd say it must be for something like Guardians. They obviously have thought about it because people can't stream it. That's why they put the royalty-free music in there, so people who do want to do it can experience the campaign. It's just not as good.
And that's kind of thing though. Like, you'll then get the trade-off when you're at that developer sort of level is, okay, we want people to stream this game, so we can have a streaming mode which is kind of all right, which then means that your focus is on the gameplay and the game being something that you enjoy. If they'd have gone at that point, okay, well, we're going to have to get rid of, what songs did he mention?
Take On Me.
Take On Me. So we're going to have to get rid of Take On Me completely. Get that out of it, because that means we can't stream that bit, and we'll put in Token Me instead, which is a similar sort of song, 80s vibe synth. Doesn't really have any resonation with anyone, but it means people can play the game.
Yeah.
And then someone sat there and gone, yeah, but you shit on what the game is then doing that. You make it accessible on stream, but the game's not. You've got access to crap as opposed to less access to something that's wonderful. And that's the creative decisions where the developers come in and go, actually, we're not about live service, or we're not about creating a game for streamers. We are about creating an experience, and that's not always the right way. Sometimes creating an experience that people can't watch or get involved with is pointless. What's the point in that? But this is a single player campaign that doesn't necessarily need all that. So they've did their cost benefit analysis and thought that's where we are, and you can see it in like just the way Next Gen Base, Mr. T have been talking about it in the chat. You can tell just the way that they're talking about it that is how it should have been made.
Mm-hmm.
Where did we get to? And I can't spell develop. Nice. No, it was Square Enix. Crystal Dynamics wasn't the problem. It was shoehorning in live service, which was a corporate decision. Exactly that. I mean, that's the kind of thing. It's. But they've done the cost benefit analysis there. I keep saying developer. I don't necessarily always mean developer. That's just me just using words to kind of fill the gaps in my mind. But when I'm saying developer, I could mean Square or Crystal, one or the other, or both, depending on who made that service. It's just whoever was in that level of decision making within production. So yeah, Mike says not far off. Which one? The United reference. Ad says that United team's worse than Neil Lennon's Celtic last season.
Oof.
Doubt it.
Yeah,
doubt it. That's fresh.
I won't go that far.
That's a Celtic man. That you can clearly tell that's the worst for a Celtic man. Yikes! Anyway, moving ahead. So that is, to wrap it back up, Marvel's Avengers. Spider-Man, well, we've seen what it looks like in-game, and to be honest, actually, one thing I didn't say is not my take. I haven't played it, and it was second-hand journalism, because it was listening to the Kind of Funny podcast, and they were saying that some of the things that have made Marvel's Avengers quite bad is you look at Marvel's Avengers, and then you look at the MCU, you're comparing it against something it can't win against. So that was bad enough. But then when you add in Spider-Man, you instantly compare that to Insomniac Spider-Man, which it can't win. And it's like night and day. If you're playing Insomniac Spider-Man and you're like traversing through the city, it's fucking wonderful. Then you go out over like Central Park and it's less wonderful because there's nothing for you to grab hold of. You end up hitting the floor and running and trying to jump. Whereas in the Avengers game, Spider-Man just seems to be sticking to some glass ceiling above him all times. And when you fly up high enough, you hit the glass ceiling that you can't go through. You can wall run up to about the 14th floor or something, they were saying, and then you just stop and can't go any further. And it's just like, well, what's the point? If you're Spider-Man and you can't get onto the top of the very top thing, what is the point?
Yeah, you're not overlooking the city or anything.
So it's
that's the appeal.
Disappointing. Next story, though. Let's jump in. Before we do, United posted on Twitter asking where I'd be watching United game later on. I commented, behind a pillow with my therapist on speed dial if the recent games are anything to go by. Not sure that's the answer they were expecting. To be fair, the United admins were probably expecting that answer, to be fair. Yeah. The corporate board above them, probably not. But they don't really care. IGN had a hands-on. Sounds like they're a glass ceiling. Oh, that's it. It was the IGN hands-on. Thank you very much, GB. There's a glass ceiling you sit the webs to, and you can hit it if you swing too high. So not great. Yeah, 100%. Not great. And if you can't traverse like Spider-Man, you don't really fight like you're specifically Spider-Man, and you've got no story about being Spider-Man. If it doesn't look like, sound like, or...
Good job it's free, innit?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, as we mentioned, the next story, Nintendo joins Xbox and PlayStation in condemning the Activision's harassment response. This is written by Chris Scullion at VGC. Anyway, President Doug Bowser, that's Nintendo of America, says the company has, quote, taken action. Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser has joined Sony's Jim Ryan and Xbox's Phil Spencer in condemning Activision's response to sexual harassment allegations. Ryan and Spencer each sent emails to employees expressing their concern at Activision's handling of the situation, and on Friday, Nintendo of America President Doug Bowser did the same, Fanbyte reports. Quote, along with all of you, I've been following the latest developments with Activision Blizzard and the ongoing reports of sexual harassment and toxicity at the company, Bowser's email reads. I find these accounts distressing and disturbing. They run counter to my values as well as Nintendo's beliefs, values, and policies, end quote. The email also states that Nintendo's representatives have been, quote, in contact with Activision, have taken action, and are assessing others, end quote, without clarifying what action it specifically refers to. Bowser also called for the Entertainment Software Association, a trade group that includes numerous publishers, including Activision Blizzard, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, among others in its membership, to take a harder stance on harassment. Quote, every company in the industry must create an environment where everyone is respected and treated as equals, and where all understand the consequences of not doing so, Bowser explains. Bowser's email means all three major console manufacturers have now spoken out against Activision Blizzard's handling of the ongoing harassment and discrimination allegations. Last week, a Wall Street Journal report alleged that Kotick was aware of multiple sexual misconduct allegations at Activision Blizzard and also accused him of personally mistreating several female employees. Let's leave that there then. Obviously, you can go through the full article at VGC. Chris Scullion has written that one. But all three major first-party platforms, from a console sense at least, have spoken out now about Activision's harassment response, the whole Bobby Kotick situation. Thoughts, Pip?
Yeah, well, we talked yesterday about Bobby Kotick potentially saying that he will step aside if he can't fix the culture quick. The last thing that you wanted to happen after two other gaming companies have come out who have been standing alongside Activision and Blizzard over the last 20 years, but perhaps longer with those of the PlayStation 1. The last thing that you wanted was Nintendo to join the race as well. And join the battle, and that's exactly what they have done. It's a long way back for them now, and again, it's horrendous for the people who are working there that are having to endure all of this, and you're having your boss who has been mistreating your whole staff work base like shit for so long, and then him then saying, I think I can change this, and I think I can do it pretty quickly. If I can't, then I'll step aside.
Will you though?
Again, he ain't going nowhere. I think his ego's far too big for him to just walk. And no one's willing to push him. They've got three of the biggest companies now that have stood alongside Activision for so long. The manufacturing the games and distribution and all that stuff. People are playing games on their platforms. I'm not necessarily sure how many Activision games have been played. With like the likes of Call of Duty and stuff, but things like Diablo and games like that have obviously come out on the Nintendo Switch. But Switch joining Nintendo joining the fight, that's not good for them. So I'm interested to see where this goes and how fast they can try and potentially move him on. Again, I think he's here for the long run, though. Unfortunately.
The interesting thing for me is I kind of think of it as like let's say a car race. Let's say F1. You've got Bobby Kotick out in pole position. Then, obviously, all this stuff started to kick off over the last 6 months. The last 6 months have seen him drop down to 10th place on the grid. He then starts pulling it back as everything goes quiet. Okay, we remove Activision's name from the Call of Duty trailers, but then when it starts to be okay, we're up to 9th or 8th place, we'll put it back in. Then PlayStation come out, okay, he drops down to 12th place, starts to pick up the places. Then Xbox, okay, he's down to 14th place, starts trying to pick up. And then Nintendo, it's like, how many times is he going to drop down the grid before the team go, fuck it, we need a better driver here, because he's steering our vehicle and it's just going nowhere quickly. The thing is, though, is, as we mentioned last week when we last spoke about this, he is in charge of investigating the problem. How can the problem self-regulate? It just doesn't work. It doesn't work in that sense. So, yeah. Does it look like share price is increasing?
No, I'm looking over the 5-day period, and it looks like it dipped when we showed last week. It completely crashed when that Wall Street Journal stuff came out. Then it slightly increased a little bit more with just before the PlayStation announced, and then it dipped again. It started to climb, and then it fell again on the 22nd yesterday. It fell big time, and it started to creep up again this morning. So it's just fluctuating up and down. Like when bad news comes out, obviously it drops off a cliff, and then it starts to climb gradually again until the next thing happens, and then it drops off. But overall, it's not really changed that much.
Have a look at the month for that one, just to see where it kind of...
So there you go. The 3rd, it fell off a cliff, and then it's gradually got worse over the last month or so.
So it was high towards the end of October, which kind of makes sense, obviously. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure. I think he's going to keep digging his feet in. At this point, if he's not gone now, then I'm not sure that I can see this being enough to take him out. Because it's almost like you've wielded the knife, it's at his throat, and it's still not taking him down. He's not going to go, okay, well, fuck it, fine. We'll leave the knife at the throat for a few weeks and then disappear. He said he's thinking about it, and he will do if he can't fix it. But what that also says is he's going to try and fix it, which means I'm not going anywhere. So I'm giving you the lip service. I'm not going anywhere. So I don't believe Bobby Kotick is leaving anywhere. I do like the fact, though, that we do have all 3 major console platforms at least speaking out about them in solidarity. That said, does that change anything? Let's be honest. Is that anything more than thoughts and prayers? We want to see what you guys are doing. Okay, but what is the threat?
Yeah, they're never going to remove the stuff from the store.
Exactly.
Ever.
Could you ever see Call of Duty being removed from the PlayStation Store?
Or the Xbox Store.
Yeah.
It's never, ever, ever going to happen. Especially, again, we had this discussion last week. Run up to Christmas. How can you not have Call of Duty on your shelf? They're never going to do it.
It's pretty much digital suicide. You'll get it put onto discs and then they'll be sold in store because obviously high street retail needs the sales. Game won't go, okay, well, we'll just turn away $500,000 of profit, let alone turnover. Yeah. So, which is understandable. Game needs the money. You can kind of, but that's the thing though. It's like either businesses need the money or they want the money, and that's where the business side of it comes out. Do we think Xbox or PlayStation could pull that? I mean, the fact that Cyberpunk got pulled kind of gives me a slight hint of hope, but that was something's broken and could impact us financially from PlayStation. Whereas this isn't. This game works perfectly fine. People will be spending on season passes and buying COD points and stuff like that. So yeah, we'll not pull this one. So it's all right you giving the thoughts and prayers, but what would the actions be? So it's nice to see, but I don't think it will change anything. If it's not verbally enough to get him out, he's not going at this point. Is the summary. Okay. If he is the problem, how can he fix it, says Tito. Honestly, they're doubling down after doubling down. Agreed. Stick their heels in, not going anywhere. They need to start digging up at some point. Next Gen Base says, fuck Bobby Kotick. To which Tito says, I second that eloquent statement. Fatman Dave says, Bowser condemns sexual harassment before kidnapping Princess Peach and running off to one of his many castles. Well, hello there, Nietzsche. Good day, sir.
Mate.
Bobby Kotick's Activision find that Bobby Kotick's Activision have no case to answer with regard to Bobby Kotick's sexual harassment within Bobby Kotick's Activision. There will be no further questions.
I'm going to defend myself, my honour. Your honour.
Yeah. Afternoon chaps, hashtag late to the party. Hey, I was talking about you earlier. I was talking about how I often don't follow people, even though I mean to do it. And then finally, after too long, dropped a follow in your stream last night. It was smashing Guitar Hero, by the way.
I fucking love Guitar Hero. It's very bizarre seeing Eternal Lee HD, and then when we raided Insert Coin yesterday, was it Eternal Steph? Eternal Steph HD, the exact same gamer tag, apart from the Lee and Steph have been switched around. How?
Twins.
Yeah, like how did that even come about?
Absolute twins.
Like if they had Eternal Lee and Eternal Steph, but one of them had HD and one of them didn't, obviously standard definition, then how? Yeah, was it template or something?
Well, it's like Nietzsche 123 and the 123 kid. They were separated, but
yeah, again. I mean, so was Nietzsche 456,
which is account they actually own.
Yeah.
Me and Steph go way back. Thanks for the follow, by the way. Thank you very much for smashing it out on Guitar Hero. I don't know whether you got round to my song. I had to ditch. I was off to. I picked up a Christmas tree. That's what I did. A little Christmas tree for my setup at home.
Oh, fantastic!
It was when I was going to buy games from Tesco, which they didn't have, so I got a Christmas tree instead.
Don't mention Christmas trees.
Mr. Gatekeeper TV. It's not on chatbot, but I can see it there. Thank you very much. I was going to call him what was it? Next Gen Renegade Gatekeeper TV, the Rabid Pit Man,
yeah,
Mr. Craig James Pitt, the chief colourer innerer at Ice Cream Upload. Thank you very much, dude. Hey,
thank you, mate. Hero.
So yeah, moving ahead. The next stories you can see on your screens right now. Let me actually ditch the news one so you don't get confused. This one is written by Vicky Blake at Games Radar. That's interesting. I'm not used to Vicky Blake on Games Radar. It's usually Eurogamer, but
she writes on both.
Yeah, it's just usually the stories we pick up. It's usually from Eurogamer, but she's a good writer anyway. Freelance. She writes across multiple platforms. Do feel free to check out Vicky Blake. Anyway, Battlefield 2042 is now one of Steam's most poorly reviewed games ever. Battlefield 2042's 30,000 plus mostly negative Steam reviews have seen the shooter pick up the dubious honour of becoming one of Steam's most poorly reviewed games of all time. Of the 33,000 plus reviews left on Steam, just 26% are positive, which means a whopping 74% are not. That means, from a pool of over 59,000 games, DICE's latest Battlefield installment, which was only released on November the 19th, has the 8th worst Steam score of all time. Steam 250's Hall of Shame via Forbes gives the full list, which I'm sure will come as no surprise, is topped by Konami's new free-to-play soccer game eFootball 2022. Interesting. What was the other one last week? That it was GTA Trilogy. Mm-hmm. That beat it to be the worst. It must have picked it back up after that. And I've played every PC Battlefield game since the original Battlefield 942, and I can confidently say that this is the absolute worst entry in the series to date, wrote one unhappy player. The issues are endless. Would never in a million years have thought a Battlefield game made by a huge studio could ever be this bad, opined another. It's just unplayable. The rubber band, the desync is just insane. Unplayable! Exclamation mark. I hope they will fix this ASAP! Exclamation mark. For now, it's not worth buying, sadly. End quote. Of course, Steam is just one place in which players can experience Battlefield 2042, and players on other platforms may be more content. And our own Josh West thought the shooter was a good time. Quote, Battlefield 2042 launches on solid ground, Josh wrote in Games Radar's Battlefield 2042, which he gave it 3.5 stars out of 5, aka 7 out of 10. DICE has plans to expand its FPS over time, effectively treating it as a live service. We're obviously yet to get a sense of what that will look like and how the studio will handle a regular cadence of content releases or progression of its battle pass, but that will all come in time. For now, Battlefield 2042 is a good time that only gets better with friends. In its current form, those of you coming in without a squad or directly from the battle royales of this world may struggle to get a footing in the carnage, but if you can settle into the rhythms of Battlefield 2042's all-out war, you won't play anything else quite like it on new-gen systems. We'll stop there. So, Battlefield 2042 reviewing pretty poorly. Ish, on PCs at least. That review seems to suggest a 7 out of 10 is quite a solid-ish game. Obviously still a modern world, new release kind of thing. Not perfect, but what are your thoughts, Bib?
You see, I was going to go on to say what Lee's said. I'm sure this is probably inaccurate, but I can't help but thinking that people leave crap reviews for games immediately after they've just got their asses handed to them in an online match. Yes, I can agree to that to a large extent. I do feel,
it all the time.
Yeah, I do it all the time. I review everything. But I feel like there should be a threshold for people to leave reviews. I feel like they should have to play for a certain amount of time, depending on the genre. If it's like an FPS game that you're playing predominantly online like this, I feel like 15 hours, maybe 10 to 15 hours should be just the baseline for you to be able to leave a review. Like, I understand that this is me talking as a whole. I don't necessarily mean just for Battlefield, but I've heard a lot of good things about Battlefield, but I've also seen a lot of bad things. Like, there was a Reddit article that got posted. Something got posted to Reddit where someone literally had the players in the crosshairs. You could see the bullet leaving their gun, and it just wasn't hitting the player. The bullet just going.
I've seen that.
So like the blue, people are saying if you turn the bloom off, then that makes a massive difference, because by the time your opticals come up, or your optic, whatever the fuck, as soon as that comes up and you get someone in your target line, the bloom manufactures something completely different as to what you actually see on screen. So people are having problems, and I'm not saying that the people who are leaving reviews are just essentially bad at the game. I just feel like it's very knee-jerky. If everybody else is dogpiling something, it's very easy for other people to say, do you know what, I'm having the worst time as well, I'm going to go and give it a negative review. But they could have had 3 bad games out of 100, but they'll remember the 3 bad games.
I hate review bombing. I genuinely hate it. Sometimes, obviously, that's the thing. People have their own agendas, whether it's something malicious or not. I can't remember which game it is by name. Let's say Infinite Warfare, the one that came out with Modern Warfare Remastered, and that got absolutely bombed. It was like the most disliked video on YouTube kind of thing. I mean, I kind of agreed with it because I wasn't interested in that shit, and I wanted Call of Duty to change, and they weren't listening from all of the information and feedback that they'd had. It was like, nope, people want space and exosuits. Fucking drugs!
Everyone wants triple jumping and wall running, don't they?
So review bombing was a way to get through. This is not. We're not at that point with EA and Battlefield. They don't need this. This is just someone started something and people going, it's ratio, but in a different sense.
Yeah.
If you're the kind of person that writes ratio on people's posts, then ratio yourself out of life. Well, maybe out of the room, maybe out of life's a bit harsh, but it's childish, immature, and it doesn't really address the problems. It just creates different problems. And actually probably creates problems that will lead to other problems, or not necessarily problems, but will lead to things not being done or not being made, or change of direction internally that actually negatively can impact on an audience. Sharing reviews and stuff critically and in a good time, all for it. Like Bibby said, should people be able to be made to play a game for a certain amount of time before they can review it? Absolutely. If anyone could just go, you can see this on my Steam library, I've played 8 minutes of it, I got killed straight away, and there was just guns and shooting everywhere. I'm used to PUBG where it's really quiet and stuff.
Yeah.
Nah, fuck that. It's not for me. It's like you're expecting it. You're judging it on PUBG, not on Battlefield or Call of Duty or whatever.
There's a long way to go, I think. It depends how people want to play this. Like, if people have just jumped on the Battlefield bandwagon because of how good it looks, that's fantastic. That means that they've done the marketing well. But if they are used to playing other FPSs and then come to this one, like, it's drastically different. Battlefield is drastically different to Call of Duty. They are two completely different games. You can nearly put them in different genres with the way that you play the game. A Call of Duty, very close-knit, corridor shooter. You get really high kills. If you're really good at the game, you'll get low deaths. But in Battlefield, you can play the game for 40 minutes, and if you've killed 20 people, that's a pretty good game. If you're exceptional at the game, obviously your KD will be completely different. You might have 40 kills and maybe 10 deaths, and that's an exceptional game. But the fact that you are in a map where you're playing the objective, where you are capturing bases, the maps are 4 times, 5 times, 6 times as big as what you're getting on Call of Duty. If you try to play Battlefield like you're playing Call of Duty, you're not going to have a good time ever. That's
the thing with any shooter. Like, you have to unlearn. It's the same with any game, really. You play if I'm speaking to FIFA players that are coming to play PES or eFootball now. A lot of my conversation is it good? Does it play well? And it's like, well, if you want it to play like FIFA, then probably not. No, you need to spend 2 hours-ish unlearning FIFA, and then you get 2 hours then learning PES, and vice versa. It takes you at least 4 hours of solid gameplay to start to think, actually, I'm thinking in this game sense rather than something else. And the same applies to Battlefield to Call of Duty, even though they're very similar. The same definitively applies if you're going from something like a Battlefield and a Call of Duty to a PUBG or an Insurgency, because those are different games. And then even more so with a Tarkov or something like that, or a DayZ.
The same genre, completely different games. Completely
100%.
different.
So, I mean, the game being panned, I'm not against. If people don't like the game, that's fine. If people think it's buggy mess, there's not enough content for whatever, that's fine. But it being review bombed to that extent, I know not from. I mean, I can read something online and see that it's shit. Okay, that's great. But I also know plenty of people that play the game online, and I know some of them absolutely adore that, and some of them have gone, do you know what? It's all right. It's not quite as good as I wanted it to be.
Yeah.
But that's not a 33,000 negative reviews. That's not 75%. In my circle of people that I can speak to that played the game, it's probably the other way around. 25% dislike it to the point where they won't play it again, and the other 75% are actually, do you know what? I either really like this or will play this again, but not all the time. So,
I mean, if it's managed to get Lotus off PUBG to play Battlefield, then it can't be that bad.
He spends all his time just flying around this game.
Yeah, it can't be that bad.
So yeah, just obviously take it with a pinch. It's a shame to see it being so negatively attacked. It being negatively received is not a problem. It being negatively attacked is a different thing altogether. So if there's things that need to be fixed, that's fine. Work with the developers in ways other than just going, you guys all suck, because that doesn't give anyone a helping hand. Probably Salty Cod fans says, ads, monkey see, monkey do, sheep. Got to shoot, catch you all later. Thank you very much, Next Gen Base.
Hey,
appreciate you dropping in.
Have a good day.
Timeless uptime. We've been up for 1 hour and 80 minutes. We don't have an uptime command. We've never actually had one.
No.
Usually because unless you're watching on
Something for
mobile,
video,
you get a timer and stuff on the screen anyway. Obviously, if you are watching on mobile, then it doesn't work that way. But yeah. Uptime is most platforms. Do you know Twitch? Just put the times on mobile so people can see. God damn it. Lee says comparing Battlefield to Call of Duty is like comparing Burnout to Gran Turismo. Same subject matter, totally different game. 100%. Battlefield 2042 is wank. Not even open my PS5 copy. It's that bad. Vanguard is fun though, but Halo is king. King.
I doesn't know it's wank then. I imagine he's played it on Xbox maybe.
No, it's because his Halo friends have told him that it's wank.
And he's playing Halo. Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Battlefield will get an update. Placebo will set in, and good reviews coming when, in actual fact, the update will do nothing, and the game's actually just good.
But the problem is, the people who review bombed it now will not go back and change their review. So they're in a catch-22 situation. Even if the game becomes extremely good, are the people who bombed it in the first place going to go back and potentially review it better? Are they going to change their review? They ratioed themselves.
Yeah, just. The thing is, though, like if they're enjoying that game, a lot of these people going, it's shit, man, review. But then they actually really like it and they keep playing it because let's say it's the only game they've got, whatever, and they play it, and by the end of it, actually, it's fucking really good, is this? But that negative review means that the studio's probably going to invest less into it or change the direction. If at the end of it you like the direction, they're going to change the direction because their statistical feedback, i.e., reviews, say we don't like this direction.
Yeah.
So. If you're going to review something, doing it after a few minutes is never good. I mean, literally that goes both ways as well. We've had stories before. I've mentioned it before. There was a PUBG reviewer who did a Coming Back to PUBG in 2021 article, and he was talking about it like he was super experienced, and basically this was a shit journalist that had said that it wasn't Call of Duty, and it's like, well, it's PUBG. You're judging it on Call of Duty. And he was talking about all these games that he played, this, that, and the other, and then someone found his gamer tag, his Steam account, and he'd played about 4 hours. He judged. This was a reviewer as well, and it was like, wow, that's in total as well. That's including playing it back then as well as now. So yeah, that's what I meant. COD shit, Battlefield shit, Halo shit. Yeah, but you're a Sony fanboy, so no surprise you'd say that. To be fair, there's nothing. He said everything shit. That's ads. That's nothing to do with fanboy. That's just ads. Didn't help that Halo multiplayer came out before the official launch. That's a good strategic move from Microsoft. That get it out before Battlefield. If Battlefield wasn't wavering and could have been like, is it a good, is it a bad? It's still an exceptional move.
Halo's free.
100%. People are too influenced by other people's opinions rather than forming their own opinion. That's most of Life boy, just games. Battlefield, COD, and Halo is just not my type of games. I mean, I like Battlefield, I like COD, I don't like Halo. I've seen some of the content. No, I mean, I'll probably like the single player, but multiplayer, like even what I've seen, it's not even that. It's just I'm so used to low TTK. Halo is like everyone's a juggernaut. It's just like magazines, hit markers, register, then lobbing grenades in and then switching to your secondaries. And
you can't miss if you're emptying out your I think it's 36 bullets in your clip. You can't miss because it'll take you 28 bullets to get the shield down, and then the final bullets in your clip will kill them. If you miss any of those, then the shield might go down, but they'll kill you before you get time to kill. It is difficult.
It appeals to a lot of people. That's not a bad thing. It's just not what appeals to me. So I'm not interested in Halo. I'm more likely to play Battlefield's multiplayer and Call of Duty's multiplayer over Halo's multiplayer. They're not all shit. They're all good for different people. I mean, Halo's multiplayer is clearly good because a lot of people, just off the multiplayer alone, are saying Halo is potentially their game of the year. That's without any of the single player stuff in as well. So that means it's got to be a decent enough game. It's just not my kind of game, which is kind of what I knew, kind of what I expected. But I'm still going to play the duo campaign when that comes out in season 2.
Absolutely.
In November 2024 or whenever it's going to be.
Dead right.
No, it's not Microsoft's. It's not. Microsoft paid for Battlefield's promotion, I believe. Shot themselves in the foot. Maybe they paid for the promotion so that they can keep it away from PlayStation to then just suffocate it. That's what they did. Maybe it's corporate espionage. Yeah, we'll take this and
we'll definitely promote this.
Yeah.
Give us all the information about your game. We'll definitely do something with it.
It's like the stepdad kind of thing. Like he's got his own son, wee Jimmy, and he's got like stepson Johnny. And it's like Battlefield's Johnny. Of course, I'm going to look after Johnny. Jimmy, go on, you go first. Yeah, you go first. Halo is insanely good. Good sign for the single player. Yep, exactly. Anyway, so Battlefield review bombed, which is a shame. Good news for Xbox, though. Speaking of Xbox, let's jump into our final news article of the day, and that is the fact that the Xbox mini fridge has been released early. Tom Ivan at VGC has this article. It says the replica product is now available in the US, while UK pre-orders are open again. Who's getting one of these? Is anyone getting one of these? Question. Anyone in the chat? Anyone looking to buy one of these? Anybody already reserved one of these? Let me know. Let us know. So the Xbox mini fridge has gone on sale earlier than expected. Microsoft opened pre-orders for the £90 mini fridges in mid-October ahead of the product's then planned launch in December, but it has been released ahead of schedule. Some US-based users have spotted mini fridges on sale at Target stores, while the retailer has also started shipping pre-orders. There you go, some images. Check out your local Target. They're Xbox X mini fridges.
They're just on the floor, like as if they're on the shop floor for you to be able to just walk out with. That's amazing.
They're not there anymore, guaranteed.
Yeah, absolutely not. That picture went live, and then that's it.
Go on. So created in partnership with Uconic, the Xbox mini fridge holds up to 12 cans of drink. It also includes a USB port for charging devices and comes with a DC power adapter so that it can function on the go. That's pretty cool about that. The DC bit. I didn't know that. Initially, it will be available there we go. Yeah, it will be available at Target and on Target.com in the US, via Target.com in Canada, and from Game in the UK, and from GameStop EU, Micromania, and Toink via Amazon in France, Germany, Italy, Ireland, Spain, Netherlands, and Portugal. Microsoft said last month that it's working to bring the Xbox mini fridge to as many regions as possible, pending regulatory approvals and restrictions by market. The product isn't currently available to order online at Target, but it can be pre-ordered at Game in the UK, although purchasers may not receive the product until next year. Xbox mini fridge pre-orders have previously been snapped up quickly. To make matters worse for those who missed out, a number of these pre-orders have been listed on eBay with prices going way beyond the £90 retail price. Obviously, because scalpers are dickheads. Facts. So what we're saying? Any of you guys looking to actually buy the Xbox fridges? What we're saying? I'm not because I'm against it. I love the idea of look at it. The picture of the Pog next to it. Look at the cat. It's a Pog. That just looks badass. It looks good. The fact that it's not oversized as well is pretty cool. The fact that if you've got an Xbox setup, it blends in is pretty cool. I'm not getting one because it's only 12 cans, and my fridge is like 50 litres or something like that. So I can get 12 cans of Muscle Mousse, like full-sized cans, plus a 1 litre bottle of cold coffee. I've got some tonics in the back of the fridge for when Danielle wants a gin and tonic, and a bottle of amaretto in there as well, plus a few other things. So my fridge is big and fucking massive. It's the only reason I'm not getting one. If I had less space, that would definitely be something I'd be interested in.
This would fit in my room perfectly. That said, I don't drink cans of pop. I would have a carton of pure orange juice or an iced coffee or something like that, so they would have to be stood up. That infinitely reduces the amount that you can put in here, so maybe I can get 4 cartons at a push.
I mean, I can't... my fecking cookie preferences, even though I always fecking enable them, just...
If I go back to this again...
That's the one I wanted to see, that image there. Yeah, you'd have to take shelves out to be able to stand up cartons, which kind of then means... Because you probably need to take all, like both shelves out.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, then again, they're obviously being obstructed as well because they've got the little grills that stick out. So, again, I don't know how much I'd actually be able to fit in there. That'll be amazing if there's a little ice tray at the top. That will be incredible.
That might be one of those little water catchery bits that you use to ditch stuff.
Oh, I can put all my Bounties and my Snickers in the door there as well. Perfect.
Although I'm room temperature chocolate rather than
I'm fridge chocolate me all the way. Fridge chocolate all the way, baby.
Just odd. I don't want my chocolate to like.
But I like to. Yeah, this is for the mature audiences. I like to suck on my chocolate. I don't want to. Yeah, like when you that that Cadbury's Marvelous Beans or the popping candy one.
Marvelous Creations jelly popping candy. I mean, not that I've eaten it. I don't know.
It's amazing.
It's fucking incredible. Although I prefer my chocolate to like coat the roof of my mouth. Like when I put it in my mouth, I'm like
every suck counts.
Yeah.
I see you out of context.
Back again. So what are you guys saying? Eternal says I really want one, can't get one. Timeless says I'd like to, but I like my marriage too. Ad says I'll wait for the Nintendo Switch mini fridge. Imagine that, you'll get like one packet of wraps or something in it because it'll be really tall and thin. A carton of fresh orange juice. Baby must have the brown laser constantly.
Constantly dropping a Black Album.
Dear Lord, rated our stream. I like my woman like I like my coffee in a plastic cup. Yeah, I mean, I like the idea of it. I do really like it. I'm gonna jump back on Bibby's screen so we can see the product page on game. So there we go.
It looks cool, doesn't it, man? I love the green glow at the top as well. Like, this is just an absolutely fight. There you go, double cans.
My issue with this though is a lot.
Oh,
okay, chocolate bars in the fridge.
Is that 3 bottles? You reckon?
It looks like it's a 1.5 litre kind of thingy. Maybe a 2 litre. It looks like one of the 1.5 litre, like the halfway house bottles. My issue with fridges like that, though, is often, obviously, you need space for the gubbins to make it work. The stuff that actually makes a fridge cold takes up quite a bit of space. That's why you'll find a lot of mini fridges either have a block at the back of it or something on the top. So often you'll see the outside and the inside doesn't actually have that much space, which is where I kind of like mine. Mine's, because it's quite a big space, they've spread the gubbins around, so you've still got a shitload of space inside it. Whereas that, I don't know, I'd have to see it in person. I'd have to go into a game store and look at it and think, can I make this work for me?
I'd be walking in with 2 giant bottles of like Rubicon or something like that. Walking in, I'm just testing it out. But it does look like the pre-orders are available, so if anyone actually does want to go in and have a look at it, the pre-order is available for you.
Jordan, are you still here? Have you got one? And if you have, how many have you got? I mean, it looks cool. It does look badass. There's no way that you could make a PlayStation 1 work because it's too thin, so the Switch would just be completely out. That is full-on meme-turned creative product, and I've got a lot of time in the world for the Xbox fridge. If it came up and it was like, do you want one of these for like 10 quid? I'm like, do you know what? Go on then. Don't need it. I'll make space for it. It's fine. But I don't need it, so I won't get it. But it is cool. I like it.
Yeah, I've just done what Lee just said. Tried to put it in my basket. It does say it's out of stock. But do you want to make the most horrifying thing on this page?
What's that?
The fact that you're going to spend £90 and you're going to get 90p back in rewards. That is ridiculous.
Big turnover there from game.
Oh, why? The reward system is abysmal, to say the least. But that's what you expect from coming from game.
Fun times. Fun times. And that's enough of the fun times, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us on stream again. I'd never even put this on stream. We're going to put it up now just because Baby went through time to put it together. The Xbox mini fridge has arrived early. So if you're looking for a present for a special someone at Christmas, well, you're not going to get one because they're available for pre-orders-ish. Says they aren't. But you know what? They might be soon. So if anyone you know is looking for a present for Christmas, 90 quid could bag themselves an Xbox mini fridge from Game. Timeless says, "Oi, don't bash my workplace."
Listen, I will give you all the props that you could potentially ever want if I get your discount.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? If I can get that little juicy 10% discount, I will sell my soul for you. I will big you up in every single show. Just give me that discount.
Just go speak to Phil at Trafford Centre. He'll sort you out. He's a good lad.
Big Phil.
He's a good lad. City fan as well, so it's not entirely.
Is it?
Lad.
Oh, fantastic. The best guy.
He's a good one. Anyway, enough of that. If you're elite, you get number 9.
Is that meant to be £9?
I don't know. Spend it on your baby, you miserable bastard.
My baby's got enough. My baby has literally got more clothes than I do.
Imagine how...
And a bigger room. My fucking room's tiny. He's got a massive one.
That baby, if his dad's got like chocolate and stuff that's cool and he can bring to him when he's teething, that baby would love that shit. So
yeah, absolutely.
I'm just thinking from a parental perspective and not a nerdy gamer perspective.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go. Anyway, that's it. Thank you all for joining us for another episode of The Scoop. That's two down for the week. I was like, what day are we on? Is it Wednesday?
It is Tuesday.
It's Tuesday. So yeah, we're done for the day now. There won't be any more streams-ish. Is there a stream?
Yes, there will be a Skyrim one later on this evening, depending on obviously what time I get home. I've already checked to see if Skyrim needed an update because apparently they went live with one last night of 12 gigabyte. My PlayStation has finally done the thing that it said that it was going to do and download stuff while it's in rest mode. Never done that before.
I don't believe it.
Yeah, exactly. So yes, we should be going live. I'd say 6:30, but it's a massive-ish, all traffic dependent on when I have my teas and that. Teas, I'm having multiple apparently. Multiple bowls of soup.
Balls, didn't realise you were still streaming. Thought you would have ended hours ago. Not anymore. You're thinking of our stream report 6 months ago. Yeah, we're always streaming. Although we are finishing now, though, because West's here, so I think we'll all just split.
We'll give it a miss.
Yeah.
Bye, mate.
So do feel free to join us tonight at 6:30-ish, depending on traffic. Bibby will be live with some Skyrim. You want to go for a mooch around with the fucking guy here? Is that what it's called? Dovakin?
Yeah, that works. I
don't know how to pronounce it. Dovakin guy. Anyway, so if you want to play some Skyrim, join him tonight. I'm not going to join him because I'm off to watch Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be there. Can you guys look after him? Keep him safe. Nice.
Please.
Nice. Before we disappear, though, obviously we will be back tonight with some Skyrim. We'll be back tomorrow with another episode of The Scoop. We'll be back tomorrow night with some PUBG. And then we'll have another episode of Skyrim and PUBG on the weekend. All of the content from now. Oh, actually, Thursday night as well. You've got some more Skyrim on Thursday as well.
Triple Skyrim this week.
So triple rimming on Ice Cream Uploads. But before you guys get rimmed 3 times, is there anything that you'd like to add, Mr. Bibb?
Yeah, I do charge for that. It's not a free ones. So all you subs, you might get a free entry. But ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for following us today. My wife decided to follow us after
Thank you,
11
Mr.
years.
Spibber.
Yeah. But all of you guys that have resubscribed, that have followed us, that have joined us in the chat, we very much appreciate it. But if you have any video game news that you want to chuck our way, if you want to help shape the remaining 3 shows this week, there's 2 ways that you can do that. First of all, Tito started to put all the social stuff in the chat. Go ahead, click on them. You'll be able to follow us if you don't already. Or if you're watching this on any of our on-demand services, go into the description below. All you'll need is the Discord link and all the rest of the links there. But all we need from you is the URL plus your thoughts and impressions. We will then give you our thoughts and impressions on the very next show. That'll be out tomorrow. Mr. Great. Okay. What?
Yeah. Ish.
Yeah.
10 a.m.-ish will be live with the next episode of The Scoop. David says, well, I can tell you that most of that 90 quid will just be going towards the plastic moulding, the cooling element. It looks to be a Peltier element, which goes for around 7 quid. There you go, David. Knowledge bomb. No idea. Nice. I'll be watching United lose even, says Tito. Yeah, I'll be listening to that on the way back home. I'll still be driving home when that kicks off. It's like 5:45 or something like tonight.
Mm-hmm.
Raid Haze. Haze who?
Hazy.
Hazy.
Haze. What, they're playing? I'm having a look. Sorry, I mean this is not great for you guys that listen to some audio stuff, but you should have finished by now anyway.
Okay, do you know what? We will throw up the end slate. We are going to raid someone. It'll be a surprise for you guys, so stick around for the raid. You'll see who we raid. For now, though, we are going to disappear. Have yourselves a fantastic day. We'll see you tonight. Well, Bib will, for some Skyrim. Until next time, remember
to stay frosty.